Welcome to Talking Jazz. My guest today is Patrizia Scascitelli. And as you can hear from the name, Patrizia is from Italy originally, but a long time New York resident, wonderful jazz pianist, composer. And I really look forward to featuring some of her music. So welcome, Patrizia.
Hello, hi. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited. That's beautiful. Thanks, Monica.
Oh, I love it. And I love the Italian accent on it too. So talking about the Italian accent, you're actually from Rome. How better can it get? Give us a quick synopsis. What got you from Rome to New York and in this whole jazz thing?
The reason why I came into New York, I was going to stay 4 years at most and then going back, having an experience in the Big Apple and do what, study, play music. But then after a year, I stayed. I was so fascinated and I have really beautiful approach because as soon I came, I started playing with the band after like a week. And then I started working with singers. It was so difficult to leave New York. And then after like years after years, I started really accomplish a lot of things. I'm recording CDs. I play all over the city. I did so many things. I really appreciate New York City gave it to me so much, I was going to Rome, basic, after my first 10 years in New York. I was going there only like during the summer, used to see my family. But then I started going back to perform. So I was playing at least a couple of times a year. I was going back to Rome, mostly like Rome. And I did, recording in Milan. So I was keeping, both places. So that's my experience. So I came in New York in 1981, September 1981. And that's just 40 years that I'm practically in New York. Yeah, so I'm going to go back in the summer. This summer, I'm going to stay a couple of months over there in Rome. So, yeah, I keep both places, I can say.
That's really cool. In 41 years, that's an achievement. Yeah, I have 34 now in the States, so I'm getting close too. But most people, come to go to school to New York or for a scholarship. You just came to experience New York.
Well, I was playing Italy. I tell you, I was the first one, really. They say I'm the first female jazz pianist, in Rome. And then I play all over, Italy. I went to Milan. I went to so many places. But my first album came out in 1974.
Wow.
So my album, the title was Ballata. It was like kind of folk, jazz. At that time, I really enjoyed listening to Korea. And I was inspired by, that kind of sound, modern sound, piano, in trio. I did that in trio. So 1974, but I recorded with the label that was associated with the RCA. It was a big thing over there because it was the first time that they really opened up to a jazz, especially to young artists.
That's really cool. So that first one we're going to listen to, and we'll go into your story way more. We have some time, but the first one we're going to listen to, it's called Reveries, and it's from an album called Close Up, and this one was from 2004, and I love the trumpet playing on there. That's pretty cool. Jim Steely.
Yes, fantastic. He's in two my major CDs. Yeah, Jim Steely. Yes. And
anything we should listen to on this piece? You want to give us a little backdrop on what?
I can say my style, the same like my musician. The musician I play with is sound very melodic and very like smooth in one way, but the harmony actually are very unusual. Mm-hmm. So, I was so surprised that I went to studio, in the studio, I recorded System 2 when I was in Brooklyn. I heard Jim play unbelievable, beautiful my piece because it's not easy, even like the melody again, sound very smooth. Reveries, I was inspired by, I used to live in Harlem when I came in New York the first 2, 3 years. I was studying there in this beautiful, nice apartment in Harlem. And then, I was inspired by, all the surrounding, my 2 cats. So I dedicate, reveries. I always remember that kind of environment, that's what reveries come from.
That's really cool. All right, let's have a listen. So this is Reveries from the album Close Up, a 2004 release, and it features Jim Seeley on the trumpet, and we have Bob Bowen on bass, and Carlos Cervantes on drums, and of course my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli on the piano. Here we go. That was Reveries from the album Close Up, a 2004 release by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli, who you also heard on piano, and of course on composition. This is an original piece of music. One day during the pandemic, the mail brought me a very nice surprise, a book that had beautiful compositions in there from you. And it seems you used the pandemic wisely to kind of document all your pieces, right? Tell us a little bit about the book, how you put it together, and the purpose.
I always thought I want to put it together book with my compositions. And obviously, I have many compositions started from the late 70s, I can say. But even when I was doing, the concert, my music was not perfect. Like I use my finale program, but I left it pretty much, incomplete. I was writing pen and stuff with the pen and some correction. Anyway, so my idea was put it together an entire book and with my composition. And with the pandemics, started like all of the other musicians, all my gigs, all my concerts, everything was canceled. I supposed to go a big concert in Rome, back to the conservatory where I studied because my background also classical music and jazz. Okay, but they canceled everything. So I said, I'm stay home. Definitely, I have to keep working on my book. But then I was like, I would say, quite frantic because everybody disappeared. Like a lot of, lots of musicians I knew. I was moving back to Europe. And I was like, okay, so now I have to really mastering the finale program, able to do a book. I can just write like it was. So it was a big effort because for me, because the music, yes, I compose the music. And then, to put all together, with the finale program. And then, actually I did everything, the cover and I print all the different fonts on my writing and stuff. I had a lot of fun. I didn't even, press attention so much what was going on. It was so dramatic. I heard this, the ambulance and this and that. But I was so much into this book, and I was like really try to focus on the music. And even some of the pieces I didn't complete musically, so I was working also to do that. So the result is 77 on my composition in this book. Mm-hmm. And I feel very good about it. I was able to publish on this company online. It's called lulu.com. Eventually, I'm going to do the Amazon distribution. But for now, it's lulu.com, or they contact me directly.
Lulu.com, where you find it. Yeah, and I have to attest, those are gorgeous pieces. I'm glad you're able to put that out. And I love what you're saying, that you were focusing on this despite all the craziness going on. It gave you this goal and this thing to do instead of panicking, and everybody's going, we don't have a future. It's all.
I feel very lucky that I'm a musician, because we can always go to the music and feel good, That's a big gift that we have. I really appreciate that.
It is a big gift to have that as an outlet. So the next one we're going to listen to, Mirella, actually features one of your fellow Italians also on the tenor sax. So did you know Ada before, or how did you two connect?
I know we connected here in New York late 90. I think it was 1990, 98, something, because I just finished one of my CDs. So I remember I met her in New York through a friend we have in common as a journalist in New York. His name is Giuseppe Ballaris. He's very much, he's right from jazz. So magazine in Italy, I know a lot of people in New York. So he told me about Ada. He said to me, you should meet Ada. So one day, we get in touch, and then she called me for a few gigs, and it was beautiful because then also started long, many years of friendship, and we still friends, and It was really very beautiful to meet her and play with her. Yes, and we did also, touring in Italy, played together over there. And I really enjoy her playing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, she's a great spirit. I did a talking chat show with her earlier, and of course with Randy Brecker.
Yeah, I remember she was playing with you at some.
That's where we met, when we had the CD release party at the St. Peter's Church. That's right.
I remember that. Beautiful, yeah.
That's right. We'll listen to Mirella. Anything you want to share with us about this composition that we should focus on?
Yes, because actually this composition I think is the most successful composition I did people play, and I have a really great artist play this music. And I wrote this music, actually, I thought less than 2 weeks before going to the studio to recording Close Up. I said, wow, I have all great band. I'm gonna write one more song, because it's all music and the CD Close Up, my composition. And I had 10 compositions, but then I said, oh, I'm gonna write one more. And I said, okay. So I was on a bus, and I remember that I always want to write a piece, a song for my friend. My friend name is Mirella. So my best friend, we growing up together in Rome, etc. So I came home. I said, okay, I'm gonna write this music I have in mind. The idea was to write over her name, because in Italiano, Mirella, Ieda, right?
Right.
So that 3 notes, Mirella, mi, re, A flat, So I came up with this theme, with this music. And then because she loved Brazil, she adopted a child from Brazil. I said, well, I'm gonna play with the samba beat. You're gonna hear all of this in one song.
That's really cool, though. So the mi, re, la, using the syllabus, so you can.
Yeah. Oh, she lucky she has a name of Mirella.
I know, and how perfect a name to have, where you can have the 3 syllabus be notes. All right, let's have a listen. So this is Mirella also from your album Close Up. Jim Seeley on the trumpet, Ada Ravadi's on tenor sax,
and then Carlos Cervantes on drums. And
Bob Owen on bass.
The same rhythm section.
Great rhythm section. And of course, my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli on the piano and composition. Here we go. Umbrella, a selection from the album Close Up by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli, who you heard on piano and of course also is the composer of the piece. So far we talked about getting from Rome here, writing the book, and the next one we're going to listen to is actually from a solo piano album, In Search of Beauty 2018. And you know, recording a solo piano album, I think it's a scary thing. You're so exposed and in the open and there's nothing to hide. What made you to do a solo piano album, and how did it go?
This is not my first piano solo album. Actually, I think that I'm the first Italian female pianist, jazz pianist, to recording a solo piano album, because my first one was, I recorded in Italy, was year 2000. Also, I did solo piano. And then, you know, I decided, why not? You know, I'm going to do a solo piano also because, you know, the big production with all musicians, you know, I was the producer. So you know what I mean, right? You have to be a big expense, everything, you know. I mean, I want to do a piano solo, but also, you know, I said, well, you know, I don't want to really go back to studio with all the composition and music and the band or my sextet. I said, let me do a piano solo. So what it was, actually, I have a story. I have story for everything. If you want to hear these other stories, this is incredible, because I was thinking this way, but then I didn't decide yet. So I went to Italy for a concert. It was I think 2018. Then unfortunately, it was terrible thing. We had the earthquake. So it was, I was there and really bad. So I said, okay, the concert is canceled. So I called a friend of mine. I had all the music and I could do a piano, solo piano pieces. So I called a friend of mine. I play with him all the time. He's a drummer in Italy, Carlo Battisti. I said, do you know a studio that I can go and do this recording? Also because, the last minute. So he said, yeah, you go there. It's a studio Nuccia. I never heard it before. Anyway, I went there. It was a really great piano, a Yamaha piano. Usually I did like a Steinway piano recording, but including my solo CD, okay. But then, I said, wow, this piano, Yamaha must sound very good. So I went there, but I didn't have enough time to finish, because, he booked me for like a half day and I had to get back in the States. So I said, okay, you know what? I have to wait another year to finish my CD. So I guess it was 2018. Anyway, I completed the CD in 2018. I went back there, find the same studio, the same piano, and I did the rest of the CD. And I'm really satisfied. Matter of fact, I want to go back and play over there because it's beautiful studio. And this particular piece that you announced, I think, yeah, okay, so Samauma. I love these composers. Actually, I did another piece from them. One is called Mario Albanese, Ciro Pereira. They write beautiful Brazilian pieces. And I did another composition for another CD, piano solo. And I like the Samauma, so I just recorded. So
that's a great story. And I'm glad you said you went back and played this in piano, because every piano has a different sound, and if you would go record it somewhere else, I don't think it would ever match up.
No, especially solo piano. I did in the past, I was in Italy, I did some live, but then I was live with another pianist, with the band or whatever. But then I came back in New York, I did on a studio in New York, but it was different type of CD, But when you do like all piano solo CD, obviously, you have to use the same piano. And I went back recording the rest of the CD over there.
That's really cool. All right, let's enjoy that, and especially the Brazilian touch on it. So this is Sama Uma from In Search of Beauty, your 2018 solo piano release. And my guest today is Patrizia Scascitelli. That was Sama Uma from In Search of Beauty, a solo piano release by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli. You know, we talked a little bit about COVID and making a book while we do it. And of course, the whole music industry has changed, you know, just getting music out these days is it's very different. It used to be you record an album and you tour and you actually make substantial income back from those sales, but that doesn't happen anymore. So these days we put albums out and we rely on close supporters. So you put one album out in 2021 that of course was in the middle of that, and you just told me you worked on with Bandcamp to put that out. Tell me a little bit how you navigate this contemporary music industry and putting music out.
But it's challenging. You see, I post all my music now, all my albums on Bandcamp.
Right.
So people can listen and purchase, you know, download even one single track. So all of my music is there. I think you was mentioned the Open Window. Open Window was really a big production because I had my sextet that I play, you know, pretty much in New York, where, you know, we did a lot lot of gigs in 55 Bar at the time. You know, some 55 Bar is very well known club in the West Village, and I played there. I played different places, the Italian Institute with my group, other places. Anyway, I'm really proud of this band. It's unbelievable. It's a Jim Seeley again on the trumpet. But in this particular piece, it's called Open Window 2, because the title, the CD is called Open Window. The idea is you open a window and you see all different scenes, from the street. It's like different corner you can look at. This is the Open Window 2. And the CD has like Open Window 1, Open Window 2, Open Window 3, the beginning of the CD. Open Window 2 is a fast tune. Very interesting because I had Michelle Marie Nestor on guitar. So she was a special guest.
Very cool. Yeah, you have a lot of very special people on there. Of course, a common friend, Jamie Baum on the flute, Sylvia Kuenka on the drums is great.
Yeah.
And Bob Hohenbach on the bass. Ada is back on the tenor sax.
Yeah, so and on this album, it's not on the Open Window 2, but on the Open Window albums, also I have a trombone player, Clarence Banks, because my sextet actually has trombone, trumpet, and a flute. So that's a challenging, really setting, but I love the sound. So, but in this particular song, I have a electric guitar on Open Window 2.
Very, very cool. So let's imagine we're opening the window and we're looking out and we're seeing the scenery. So everybody can make their own picture of how it looks like, just take the music and imagine. So this is Open Window. Open Window 2 from the 2021 release, Open Window. And this is by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli. Open Window 2 from the album Open Window. My guest today is Patrizia Scascitelli, pianist composer. So we got a taste of this brand new release that's available on Bandcamp, and like all her music, you can hear it. My guess is the book available. Oh no, lulu.com is the book.
Yeah, and then they can contact me. Fine, I can send out.
And you can send that out. So I would say I want to hear one more from this album. And just like you have Open Window 1 and 2 and 3, you have Conversation with Mike 1 and 2. So I've got to ask, who is Mike?
I know. So people ask me, who's Mike? Who's Mike? If I tell you who's Mike, it's not a secret. This is really like a musician that mostly in New York, we know him. It's Michael Abene.
Oh, I love him.
I love him. Yeah.
Incredible composer, arranger. Oh my God.
I know, because I was so inspired about his composition. He's teacher at the Manhattan School of Music. So I was so inspired about his composition. He's great, the communicator, the way, he explains music. And actually, I showed him my work. He really likes, I remember I showed him my tunes in the close-up tunes, because my CDs are completely all my composition, original composition. So he said, wow, Pat, you got very good stuff here. I said, okay, thank you very much. So when I heard that, the way, I went many times at Manhattan School of Music to hear the band, I was so inspired. So I wrote this, I call it suite, in 3 different songs, one a conversation with Mike 1, conversation with Mike 1, conversation with Mike 2, and Mike Waltz. So I choose for you the conversation with Mike 2 or 1, maybe 1.
I think we have 1.
1.
Conversation with Mike 1.
It's a ballad, and then you can hear Jamie Baum on the alto flute, Jim Seeley again, and Clarence Banks on the trombone.
It's a gorgeous ballad, and I so agree of being inspired by Mike's writing. He also wrote a lot for the WDR Big Band in Cologne, for everybody. Well, let's see how your conversations with Mike influenced you and created this beautiful ballad. So here we
Yeah, and then I told him, I recorded, I said, Mike, I wrote this suite for you. He was kind of like really so happy. He said, oh, Pat, you did this for me. He has a beautiful, personality, Mike, it's so great. And I said, yeah, Mike, you really inspire me so much, I said, okay, beautiful.
All right, Conversation with Mike 1. So this is from the album Open Window, a 2021 release by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli, and we'll hear the wonderful Jamie Baum on the flute and Jim Seeley on the trumpet, Clarence Banks on the trombone. We'll have Bob Bowen on bass and Sylvia Krenka on the drums. Here we go. That was conversation with Mike 1 from the album Open Window, a 2021 release by my guest today, Patrizia Scascitelli, that is available on Bandcamp. Go ahead and find it and listen and support. We'll close out with one more from the solo piano album, In Search of Beauty, Corta Chaka. And you just told me a fascinating story about the composer of this. So share with us about her and what made you pick this one and what's so special about it.
Chiquinha Gonzaga was the first composer, woman composer in Brazil. She's from Rio de Janeiro. So she born 1837. Okay, so she lived a long life. She died in 1935. She was a composer of like orchestra, popular songs. But in particular, with the samba, she had influence by the ragtime music here. So that she really represents one of the female jazz, I can say jazz, pop music from Brazil very early. And when I mentioned to my Brazilian friends in New York, they know him. She's very, very well known. This particular piece is called Corta Jaca. And also some they define like tango brasileiro, but it's not like the tango from Argentina. It's very close to a samba. I practically play the melody like I heard her, and I saw the music. But then in the middle of the composition, I put some of my arrangement very, refer to the ragtime. So you kind of hear that.
That's really cool, and I love that we are going back and bringing some of these hidden figures to the foreground that, their voice wasn't heard and they kind of disappeared in history. So one of the things to change this landscape is by going back and rewriting history and bringing some of these people to the foreground, because the history books usually don't have them and we have to take charge. Patrizia, it was so fun to have you and have you share your music. And you said you're going to be in Europe this summer?
Yeah, I'm going to be there July, August.
Thank you for joining us. And yeah, good luck to all of us. Let's take charge of that future and make it better. We'll close out with Corta Chaka. This is another one from your solo album, In Search of Beauty, a 2018 release. Patrizia Scascitelli, I should spell it once so people can find it. Patrizia, and the last name Scascitelli.
Thank you, Monika, again.
Thank you, Patrizia. And here is Corta Chaka. See you soon. listening to Talking Jazz. My guest today was composer, pianist, Patrizia Scascitelli. You can hear Talking Jazz every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Mondays at 7 p.m. on WETF 105.7 in South Bend, Indiana, or online at jazzradiowetf.org, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on WICR 88.7 Indianapolis. Previous shows are also on my YouTube channel, Monika Herzig, MonikaHerzig. Please subscribe to the Talking Jazz playlist. Thank you for listening.